What's going on, YouTube? Christian here with Archangel Welding, Mechanical Contracting LLC. I got another little update video for you guys on our C30 Chevrolet rig truck project. Kind of wanted to show y'all around as to what I've done so far and what we plan on doing next with it. In my previous video, I talked about side skirts and also the fender flares that we have to make for it. So obviously the mud and stuff doesn't get slung all over the tools that are on the bed, but I went ahead and made some changes and thought I'd kind of show you guys around as to what it is that I'm doing with it, and probably what the next steps are going to be. So here it is right now. So what I've done is I've cut a hole in the bed. I think I'm going to continue running the wood flooring. I like the way it looks. I think it looks pretty neat. It's a little bit different. It's not exactly what you would see on a typical rig truck. But you know, I'm just kind of winging it and seeing what we come across here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to build a little subframe right here out of some angle iron for the machine to sit in, so it kind of cradles it a little bit better. I went ahead and cut the hole right here for the machine to sit down in the bed. Now, why do you want to do that? Why do you want your machine to sit down in the bed? Well, number one, it's a secure way of putting it to the truck without bolting it down. These machines are heavy enough, they stay pretty much set and you don't have to bolt them down. As long as you have some kind of a cradle for them to sit in, they're super stable when you put them or recess them down inside of the beds like this. The other thing is, if you kind of look at the side profile, see how this machine is sticking up above the cab of the truck? I really don't want to have that, and you can kind of see right there, the machine sticks up higher in the truck. I want the machine to be lower than the cab or right in line with the cab as much as possible. It's strictly just a looks thing. It has nothing to do with, you know, performance of the machine or anything like that. It's strictly just for looks. I like it to sit down a little bit lower. So that's why we're gonna put the machine in the bed instead of on top of it like it is now. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna make this hole just a little bit bigger. I went ahead and test fit the machine in there and it's really tight. So I'm gonna open this hole up just a little bit more and clean up these cuts here, get some of this extra wood out of here that we couldn't get cut. Gonna build the frame for the machine to sit in, and then after that I'm gonna frame out the sides right here with angle iron, so that way you don't see any exposed wood that has a fresh cut on it. It'll look like a, you know, a nice little metal frame for it to sit in. And that's gonna be today's project. We got some pretty bad weather rolling in here soon. It's supposed to be here between 5 and 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. So I'm just gonna set you guys down and put it on time lapse and let you guys just kind of watch what it is that I'm doing. But yeah, I'm not expecting to be able to get too much done today because of the weather that's coming in. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to it and let's make some progress on this truck. I'm excited to work on it. It's been a long time coming. I've been so busy with the Amazon projects and all the other calls that I've had to go on. Seems like we're gonna slow down a little bit here, so that's gonna give me some time to finally work on this truck. And I'm excited to bring you guys along with me, and appreciate y'all showing some interest in it. And yeah, let's see what we can do today. Super easy. Go over here to the other side and get these spots cut off too. I'll tell you right now, that right there is an amazing tool. I love this thing. If you're cutting outlets or having to do any kind of like sheetrock work in your house, that's the tool to have. You can literally do plunge cuts and do all kinds of, you can do all kinds of cuts with these things. They make all these different heads. It's a wonderful little tool. And the last one is gonna be right here. And we'll have this side cleaned up. just like that, we're good to go. So I think now what we can start doing is I need to actually take a measurement and make sure that this width right here is going to be wide enough for the machine to fit inside of, which we already know it is. It's just it was tighter before, but since I've already got it cut, I'm going to make sure that the dimension from here to here is going to be good enough for this machine to sit in, plus the angle iron to cover up this cut here and this cut here. So we're going to need about, I don't know, about maybe 3/8, maybe 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, something like that, to make sure that we have enough clearance between the machine and the angle iron that we're going to put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a tape on this, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so I think I got the measurement right. The machine is roughly 20 inches wide from here to here. So what I did was I cut the original hole 21 inches wide, and then I've actually snuck up on that that dimension just a little bit. So now we're at 21.5. So hopefully that's going to give us the dimension size to have our angle iron and the machine fit down in this hole and it all work together well. The next thing that I want to go ahead and work on is I want to try and get our little frame built in here, so that way the machine will have something to sit on other than just these frame rails right here. Just note, I want you guys to understand, this right here, this is the frame of the truck right here, okay? There's a gap, I can put my hand through here. This is the frame on the flatbed itself. So we're welding to the frame on the flatbed, not the frame on the truck. So just because, you know, there's always that one person, oh, you can't weld to a truck frame. Yeah, you're right, I know that. So that's why we're welding to the flatbed frame and not the truck frame. Flatbed, truck. So we're gonna go ahead and get the measurements pulled on that. And I'm actually gonna use our Evolution chop saw here. This is my favorite tool in the world. I love this thing. I'm gonna use that to help get the cuts that we need, and we'll start laying everything out. All right guys, so we got all the steel cut for our little cradle that we're gonna build for the inside of the bed. I've moved everything over here to our little fab table. I'm gonna get it all squared up and get everything tacked up. Alrighty, now that we got this frame tacked up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the truck and the crane. We're going to pick this machine up. I'm going to take this out, slide it right here, and then we're going to lower the machine down into this frame to make sure everything's going to fit good. Measurements all come out pretty good. I've been known to make things a little bit tighter than what they need to be. I like a tighter tolerance on certain things, but for this, I don't really want it to be really tight. I want it to just kind of fit in there without much force at all. So let's go ahead and get this thing lifted up and see if that frame works good. And if it does work, then we'll stick it back down in there, tack it in, weld it out, and then we'll put the machine back in here. Alrighty, looks like we got room to spare. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted us to have just a little bit of room, so that way, if we needed to make any adjustments, we could easily make them. All right, so now that we know that fits, let's go ahead and get this thing welded all the way out, and then we'll stick it inside the truck bed here, and that'll be one step closer to getting finished with this thing. Yep, looks like we got some bad weather rolling in, just like they predicted. So I think instead of keeping this thing up here as a giant lightning rod, I'm gonna go ahead and get this machine set down inside this frame right here as quickly as I can. Once I figure out if this is exactly where I want the machine, there's a couple little things that I want to make sure. I want my exciter cap to be just on the inside of the frame rail. I don't want the exciter cap sticking out because there's a bit of a clearance issue with this, and I don't really want to cut into this. I'm going to try to back the machine up that way as far as I can so the exciter cap will clear this frame rail. So let's go ahead and get you guys on time lapse, and I'll get this thing set in here and hopefully not get struck by lightning. All right, guys, check it out. The frame is all welded in. I've actually got it welded on the bottoms on this side also, just to hold it in place as I was welding it out up here on top. So anyway, that is the finished frame that the machine's gonna sit in. It's gonna allow it to have just a little bit more clearance. Speaking of clearance, I checked this out. The dimension from this side rail here to the bottom of this exciter cap right here, you ought to see how tight it is, how close I was able to get it. It's you could probably shove a $100 bill through there, and that's about all the room you got. So I'm pretty happy with how easily that turned out and how easy this went in. So let's go ahead and get this thing set back in here, and we'll go ahead and set this thing in. And then the next thing after that, weather looks like it's kind of holding off. It hadn't really started raining yet. Haven't heard or seen any lightning, so I don't know. We'll go back and reevaluate that situation here in just a little bit, but I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough room between the machine and this piece of wood here to put my pieces of angle iron in that I want. So that's going to be the next thing on the list. Let's get that machine set in here and see what that looks like. Okay, so this is that gap I was telling you about. I can barely get my fingers in there, so that makes me happy. That's keeping the bed away from the exciter cap here, so it doesn't get any more dings and damages. I mean, it's already messed up. I want to get another one, so I wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to be too tight, just so that way this doesn't get hit anymore. But yeah, there's the frame, and it looks like I've got just enough room right here to put my piece of 3/16 angle iron in there to basically cover up this cut. It's a little bit tighter on this side. It might be a bit of an issue, but if it is, I'll wiggle the machine around a little bit and probably give myself a little bit more room on this side. But so let's go ahead and get the measurement from right here to over there for both sides, and get a piece of angle iron stuck in there and see what kind of clearances we have. That thing cuts like butter even with a bad blade. This thing's got a few missing teeth on it. You can see right there actually. got to get a new blade for it, but that right there is probably the best tool I own besides my welding machines. I love that thing. Okay, let's go ahead and get this stuff fit up and see if we can get it in there. Alrighty guys, it definitely looks like we're getting ready to get rained on. Starting to hear some thunder and lightning, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it for today. But where we're at, I got the angle iron over here on the sides. Everything is tacked in. I just got it tacked on the little corners right here. The only thing I need to do is figure out what I'm gonna do with this space right here. I think I might build some kind of a cover that goes right here so I can, you know, still access my battery panel and all that good stuff. Take a look at the front here. I had to do some extra cutting and I didn't film it because I didn't want to bore you guys with it, but what I was running into was my air cleaner bowl right here was hitting this. So I actually had to cut the wood back a little bit more to make some more room right here. So that's what I was doing while the camera was just sitting there. But once again, I got to fill in this hole over here. But other than that, I am absolutely happy with today's progress. It was just a small project, but like I said, we got the weather rolling in and all that good stuff, and I don't really want to get my tools all nasty and wet. So we're gonna go ahead and call it here for today. I guess this is our first official 79 pipeline truck video that we've done so far. I know I've been talking about doing it forever. Just, you know, one of those things where time just got away from me. Man, I'll tell you what, you guys got to see these clouds. It is wild out here. Look at this. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get rained on, so I need to go ahead and get all this stuff cleaned up. So anyway, as always guys, I appreciate y'all following along and allowing me to show you kind of what it is that we do. I'm excited to get this truck going and to get this thing finally finished out. This is a big step, getting the cradle and little side rails right here finished. I'm really happy that we did that today. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for all the support, your likes, comments. Share it with your friends and tell them who we are, what we do. We service the entire state of Georgia. And if you have any welding needs or any kind of field fabrication, heavy equipment repair, any kind of stuff like that, and we'll be able to get you taken care of. I'm gonna go ahead and get cleaned up here so I can get in before this rain. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.